Hello everybody, welcome back to the third and final video of the coaster making project. Hopefully by now you've mastered your magic circle in the middle, magic ring, and then you've started working in the round and finished off your coaster. At the end of the last video I did say I would show you how to do the invisible join, so I did actually just record this, but then my phone got full and ended halfway through the video, so here I am doing it again. So I've got this old piece of circle here, so you can just slip stitch into that first stitch of the round there and then fasten off as you have been doing in your other projects, or you can do an invisible join, which I'll demonstrate now. So we cut a length of yarn and we pull through and thread it into our darning needle. And then we're going to take the yarn that's coming out of that last stitch and put it underneath the first stitch. So we're going to thread our needle underneath that first V and then pull it a bit close. And then we're going to go back into where that yarn is coming out of, into that last stitch and just down the back so it's secure. And then you should see, you can't actually see where I worked because it's an invisible join, because it looks just like all the other stitches. We've just made a fake stitch there, a V stitch, and then you just fasten off as we have in all the other projects by going back into 3 times. I'm actually not going to demonstrate that for you now because you've probably had enough of my voice after 3 videos, but you need to do it for this piece of yarn and for your center piece, your center tail, to make sure that this is nice and secure in the middle. You don't want it all coming loose. So here is my finished coaster. Now I'm going to show you how to do the surface embellishments if you want to add these extra rings. So you'll need a contrasting colour yarn. I'll leave you to make decisions on what is an appropriate colour. And we're going to hold it underneath our work. In your yarn holding hand, you take the tension and then just pinch it behind the work. So if you saw what I did then, you take it however you like to hold your tension. I like to hold mine like that, and then I'm just going to hold the yarn behind the work. And I'm going to demonstrate on this top row first. You can put the rings wherever you like. I personally think they look quite nice with these spaced out 3 here. I'm actually holding my coaster back to front, so that's the front. You can see the front because this top edge is slightly tipping inwards, and the backs, unlike when you do in rows and you're going back and 2, you actually can see a clearer front and back because the back is always on the same side. So that is the back of your stitch and that is the front, so it looks quite a bit neater. So once again, I'll just show you, I'm putting the yarn behind my coaster on the back side, and I'm going to show you this top edge first. So I'm going underneath this stitch, top of the stitch, which is where you would go if you were going to do another row, another crochet, and we're going to put the yarn over the hook. So I'm going to put the yarn over the hook and pull it through. Then we're going to, with that loop on your hook, put it into the next stitch, bring the yarn over and pull through, and then pull through the loop on your hook, just like a slip stitch. It is a slip stitch. You're just slip stitching all around the outside. You're going into the next stitch, yarning over, pulling through and pulling through the loop on your hook, and you just repeat this all the way around. In some ways this top edge is quite easy because the yarn is near the edge there and it's easy to see what you're doing. It becomes a little bit more tricky, so I'm just going to stop that now. You got the gist of what I'm doing there. When you've finished, you will need to fasten off these ends quite securely. You might want to just do a tiny knot there to make sure that it is secure, because or when you finished all the way around you'll have another tail end, so I tie the 2 together just to make sure that it's not going to come apart. I'm just going to pull it out and show you one of the middle ones because it's harder to see what you're doing. So I'm taking the tension of my yarn again, putting it behind my coaster. I've already inserted my hook, but you can just put it where you're ready to start. and then you yarn over and pull through into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through both. And when I say into the next stitch, this is a bit more tricky to know where you're going because you're not got these nice V's on the top that you're used to working with. So you're just going into these spaces between the stitches. So the little holes basically. So in, and then you might want to flip it over so you can see yourself putting the yarn over your hook, pulling through, and then pulling through the loop on your hook as well. And again into that next hole there, yarn over, pull through, and pull through the yarn on your hook. One more time, insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And you just follow that simple pattern. It's exactly the same if you were to go into this one here. You hold it behind, work out where you want to go. These are all the individual stitches. You can see these little holes here, just where you're going to go into. Yarn over, pull through into the next stitch, yarn over behind the work and pull through, and then pull through into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You won't always need to look behind the work. You'll get used to feeling the tension like that. But in the beginning, feel free to flip your work, yarn over, pull through, and you just can repeat all the way to the end. I will just go back to that middle one to show you how to finish off. So I'm just going to go in here like that, going round. Could have done with one of my Blue Peter moments here, couldn't I? Going into the middle one because it's the quickest, so don't worry, you won't have to listen to my dribbling on for too long. Just about to go and settle down to catch up on the big night in from last night. Missed that, so looking forward to a bit of light-hearted laughter, hopefully. Right, so I've gone to the second to last, or all the way around if you, whichever way you look at it, but there's one gap in the middle, so I've gone into the last hole and I want to join it to that one. Now you can slip stitch, but it all gets a little bit messy, so this is best to do an invisible join here as well. So we just pull through a bit of yarn to make sure it's not going to fall through. We chop a bit off behind and then pull it through the front. Thread our yarn into our needle. And then again, you might want to just pull this tail end tight at the back so it's not going to come loose. And you go in underneath the V. Can you see that? And it is a bit fiddly. There's a few strands, especially if you've got a sharp needle like I have here. You're just trying to get just that first stitch, that first slip stitch. You're going underneath it. And then you're going back into the one that you came out of. And there you've got an invisible stitch. I think I've actually made an error here, I'm not going to lie to you. I think I should have done one more to here and then joined it. But it is up to you how you want to do it. I've pulled it tighter and actually that looks better, so maybe it is that. Just trying to work it out. No, I think I have done it correctly. That is the way you're supposed to do it because you've made it. Yeah, that's right, guys. That's right. So now you've gone through, you've got that fake looking stitch, and on the back I would just tie these two together to make sure they're not going to come apart. I just do a small double knot. And then you fasten in the ends, sew in the ends the same as you would. You don't have to go through as many times if you don't want to, because you have put that little knot in there to secure it, and then trim it off. And hopefully you, once you've done all your embellishments, you should have a coaster that looks something like that. You can make a set of 4, multiple colours, mix it up. You could even branch out and move it into a placemat style, get some thicker yarns, they can be great pot holders. The possibilities are endless. I hope you have enjoyed making your placemat, coaster, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, which will be early next week, hopefully on Monday, and we will be moving on to double crochet. So that's a taller stitch again. So the single crochet was the smallest, this the half double, and we're going to move on to the double crochet, which is slightly taller. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for keeping involved, and stay safe. See you soon, and happy hooking.